about this one. We've
Local
got
artist.
Kokomono.
Yes.
Yeah, Kokomono. This is a debut single, I believe. This is Jake Julian. I don't know if Jake is on now, but
Yeet.
Jake has run house shows in Urbana in the
Love it.
past. Me and him, we played at it was FYGU Fest, which ironically was brought to you by Twitch. So
Bro,
that was yeah, so that was kind of fun.
Frygu Fest had
Uh,
a big artist too. They had fucking Trippy Red. They had
Yeah,
Made in Tokyo. Crazy.
yeah, it was fun. We it was like we won some competition or whatever, and we like opened the thing, and it was like right at the beginning, so people were just walking in, which is kind of bullshit, but it was fun. We
Wow.
almost won the
Opener.
competition. We were like 1 point away or something from winning,
Sheesh.
like a headlining spot, like a spot before Trippy Red or something like that.
Hmm.
But it was a good time. So
That's
I'm
cool.
excited to hear this. Jake is a fantastic guitar player and synth guy and producer and all that shit. So this is
Mhm.
exciting. The song is called All the Way. Oh, let me get this up on the screen for you guys. Song is called All the Way, and it's a finished release. I think it just came out today, actually.
Crazy.
The description is a mixture of all the music I'm into: jazz, rock, gospel, hip hop, funk, R&B. Great
Wow.
genres.
Me too.
Yeah, yeah. Produced entirely by himself in Ableton over the course of way too many weekends. Oh well. Definitely inspired by Anderson Paak, Chance,
Love.
No
Love.
Name, and Brass Tracks with this one. Nice.
Hmm.
Also, taking a lot of influence from Motown sound from the 60s.
Love.
Couldn't have prefaced it any better.
Great.
Let's listen.
Yeah, I'm ready. All the way.
All right.
Kokomono. Three, two, one. Mm.
Oh, first 2 seconds are good.
Mm-hmm. Bro, Pete Blizzard, are you in Champagne? What the fuck?
It's been a rough week, can't get enough sleep. Another long night of working, but I stay on my feet, keep chasing my dreams. I put it all, said I put it all in. Myself, my life is risking all that I am, and I'm saying my jam. I hit the gas on day, I'ma be a bowman, stay by 23, certain talk is cheap, my actions speak with urgency, and put my life on this vision, stay committed to the
I
dream.
think right away, I want vocals to be louder and more present.
Yeah.
Dig a little deeper. 60-hour weeks
Ooh,
is so
I like these synths
can
though.
breathe, but duck anxiety while the world be trying me. All my grind because this music's all I ever need. Drop my
What?
hand and pursue all my dreams
What?
are personal.
Oh,
Please
shit.
don't take it personal. Yeah, I ain't do the way I do. Spend $8,000 on my school, all on glass like pay-per-view. Physics shit got me confused. I'm just trying to make it through. Beating my bitch from the basement, from the base up and down, bad bed down with it. I ain't in the bed when I'm taking
Whoa.
I'ma be setting the roof up. I'll be hitting the gas on the move up. You ain't hitting me yet, you be snoozing. I'll be living it out for the future. Yeah, I'm putting in work, don't say a life. Oh, and diamonds what my mind say. Love this life that we live it y'all way up. I'ma fight for this vision, going all the way up. I'm going all the way, and I'ma put it all in. Myself, my life is risking all that I am, and I'ma stay in my jam. Yeah.
Oh, the organ.
I'ma be on stage, always lead unafraid, 'cause I'm taking my life to the high life. Yeah, 10,000 hours of time, I'm too invested to quit. I win passions with pride. I'm pushing past the bullshit. People go wicked with pride once they get taste of success. Got up and chasing a dime. Be passing you by, maybe chasing a dream. It's just as much of a trap. Perhaps the art that I make doesn't make up for the lack of time I have to enjoy the place in life that I'm at. I take in all that I can and put in all that I am, 'cause I can see it all the way.
Nice.
I'ma be on a stage, always lead unafraid, 'cause I'm taking my life to the high life, and I'ma put it all in. Myself, my life is risking
Ugh.
Woo! Dude, oh my
Oh
god.
my god. Sorry, I had to turn you down. Holy
Me
shit.
too.
Yeah. Right away, yeah, I had to turn up the volume because I wonder if there's like some mastering issues there with limiting and stuff. But
Sure.
wow, this guy's fantastic. And I've heard rumors about Kokomono tearing up house shows here
Mhm.
and inspiring my bandmates actually. Like they went to a show
Nice.
I think maybe last weekend for Halloween. They're like, dude,
Yeah.
Kokomoto is like absolutely insane. But
Dude,
yeah, I could
that's
tell the
awesome.
talent is there. That there's some soul there for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Um, yeah, that's my first impression. What do you think, Josh?
Man, I mean, firstly, I just to say, like, uh, Jake, you're definitely an A1, like, songwriter and player. Those are, like, the biggest things from this, like, that song all the way through, I mean, like, your your vocal lines are really catchy and really good, and your instrumental parts go along with all of that really well. Um, the sections, there was like great variation. It never got boring. There was great variation between what was happening and like the breakdown, like changing things up, and like your flow was good on those parts too. Like
Oh,
damn,
dude, the change up was
super,
crazy.
yeah, man, like super versatile. Those synth parts are great. uh, I think the only thing, like Chris said, is just like biggest thing is mastering.
Yeah.
I talk about this pretty often, but I recommend for a lot of reasons, even if you do the mixing yourself, to get like a separate individual to do the mastering.
Borg
Just
Borg.
because, yeah, get Forborg, man. He's in town,
Yeah,
right? Like, yeah.
he's a good
Um,
engineer.
yeah, man. But like seriously, just it can be really helpful to get a sectors on it before it goes out the door to the streaming services. And actually, if you want to get it mastered by somebody, which might honestly be a good idea, you can just like re-upload it to the same streaming services. You won't lose your plays or links or anything like that. So I might even recommend that since you just came out with it, and since
Mhm.
both me and Chris had to turn up pretty considerably to
Yeah,
reach the volumes of all the other stuff that we've been listening to, which isn't even radio stuff, right?
yeah,
So I would definitely, that's like the biggest recommendation. Um,
yeah, dude. Take your winnings from a show, and then put it into an
yeah,
engineer.
to
Yeah,
mastering your first single, yeah.
yeah. Or
Um,
you could like do it. I mean, it's you said it took you weeks in production for Ableton, bro. You have the talent to just like say fuck it, I'm gonna go play live and sound great, and then make that money, and then put that money into an engineer.
yeah.
Make a partnership with them and have them make you shine.
And look,
Honestly,
the thing that I think by far is the most common that we see is your things that you can't control hurting your ability to make something that sounds radio ready. And what I mean by things you can't control mostly is your room, which I mean, there are some things you can do, but if your room is
yeah.
too small, it's very hard to get an accurate picture of what you're doing because, again, you've got just because of the way that sound works, the physics of sound, you've got standing waves in your room that when the room gets smaller, those wavelengths start to uh, equal the low frequency of your hearing range, which means that as your speakers are pumping out sound, the room is resonating back and forth between those surfaces
Shake
at
it.
a wavelength that totally masks your perception of your low end. And also, like, if you're in like a carpeted room or you have too much like foam on the walls, you might be hearing less of your high frequency stuff, and then you're hyping it up, and then you end up with sort of a hollow sounding mix that's too bright. So like the room is the thing that can kill you the most, or having monitors that aren't like super accurate. Again, reference with other speakers like headphones, car, other people's monitors, stuff like that. Get second perspectives in the mixing process. So like, you know, that's sort of what we're doing here, but get people to tell you how it sounds to them, and get a separate person to do your mastering. That's what I would the most actionable advice that I could give around this kind of thing.
Mm.
Um, but that's more production. Do we want to just go through our ratings in each category?
Yeah, yeah. Let me see if there's any thing I missed in the chat. So good night, Meadle. Music. It's 3 a.m. in his country or her country.
Yeah,
So good night. Darius he loves it. So many genres. Nightbot seems to be timing you a lot, and it's
yeah.
timing other people out about
Let's go
spamming.
through let's not read
Yeah.
every chat just because I want to try to get through these a little bit quicker.
Okay. I just want to say
If
we'll
there's
probably
anything
change that,
important,
but yeah,
but if
let's
there's
do it.
anything important, we can shout it out. But let's not
Sure.
go through every single one. While you're reading that, I'll just start to go through these, I guess. Vibes, like, dude, oh my god, this is somebody, I think Yuha said in there, purple vibes. That's definitely true. Like this thing, we talked about reasons why. Like your arrangement's great, your lyrics are great, your flow is great, the sounds are great, all of that stuff. Vibes are like off the charts. Lots of genres mixed together. Super cool. In terms of content, I think again, like your arrangement and your songwriting are part of that, and they're like just absolutely great. There might be a couple things that are more related to production that sort of tie into arrangement and content. Like there were a couple of places, just a few, with organ or a couple of synths that felt like they could have been cleaned up, like in the production sense, just a little bit, like to sort of sit in the mix a little bit more. I did like when they came in; they were very noticeable. That's like a small thing, just sort of smoothing out the edges on some of those transitional elements. But otherwise, content I would also give you a green on for sure. Like amazing song. And then I think I already talked about most of the stuff with production. Is just like maybe assessing your room and your listening conditions, getting outside perspectives, and get mastering more in check, because it is pretty quiet compared to other stuff. And we had to turn up I had to turn up pretty high on my audio interface even to hear it at a good volume.
Reference track.
Yeah, reference tracks is the way for kind of stuff. But yeah, I can't really think of much else, honestly, in production either. It's like pretty good. So I'd give it a like 90% of the way to green on production. But Chris, what about you?
Oh, production. Oh shit. I think production's a yellow. But let me get into
Really?
vibes.
Yeah, for sure. So vibes is a definite green, definite purple. All the influences, I heard it. You have a dope, soulful voice, dude. Um, I love it. Um, yeah, I want to see you guys live. There's nothing to
Yeah.
say there, really. Content, as far as like all the instrumentation that I heard, the trumpets, I loved it. The organ, I loved it. Um, I do agree that maybe at times it felt like there's a lot of things going on, maybe just overcrowding in the instrumental mix, which I think as more, it can be kind of achieved. I could see why you put it in content, Josh. It's kind of like an arrangement issue, but I think it could also be addressed in production. So I think content for the most part, it's like 90% green. Um, Production, so yeah, right away, like I think, and like what is it? Services like Spotify are trying to alleviate this problem of very different sounding volumes. Um, they're trying to make all the volumes like the same, such that the listener experience, when they're listening to a playlist, for example, um, saves pretty much roughly the same, and they don't have to turn it up themselves. Because unfortunately, the human ear is like, oh, the louder it is, the better it's going to sound, or the more it's going to hit. And so the fact that I had to turn it up a lot, it's really is kind of like telling of, or not telling, but it's a factor. Unfortunately, it's a factor of people like coming across your music for the first time, and they're just like, oh, it's too quiet, I can't hear it. This doesn't bump. I'm just going to go to the next song. So it's a shame, and that's why I do have to give it like at least a yellow. Um, so yeah, right off the top, the mastering itself, I think it is very quiet. So the way to address that is put in a reference track at the uh, what is it, line level, I guess. Basically, like at 0 dB, put in a reference track that you have a good quality from, maybe like a CD or like iTunes or something. If you can get into Ableton, but yeah, and then see how quiet your track is compared to that, and then try your best to try to get the volumes the same. Like push up
Right.
your track to that volume,
And
just to avoid that problem.
that's best done in the mastering phase, usually, because like it doesn't make as much sense, especially if you've got anything on the master bus. You don't want to just like create another track in your mixing session with a reference track in it. You
Mhm.
can listen side by side, or you can bounce the track out and then listen side by side with just in iTunes to both of them. But with this, it's definitely more in the mastering phase that you'd be worrying about
I do.
raw volume and dynamics. And
Honestly, I
if
do
you
it both. I do it both in the
right.
mixing and mastering phase.
Yeah, I
So
mean, you should be referencing stuff in both parts. It's just like if there's you can have a technical issue with putting a full track inside of a mixing session if it's going to your mix bus, and if your mix bus has processing on it, because now you're
yeah,
processing the other track and you're not hearing it.
you could
But that's
change
just
the
the word of
output. Yeah, you could change the output instead of the mix bus or whatever, you can
Right.
change the
Right.
output to like the stereo output. And
hmm
then typically with mixing, you want to leave a little bit of headroom before you go into mastering. I've seen like 3 to 5 dBs of headroom.
hmm
So I would say do that. I do it both mixing and mastering phases. Um, and I kind of mix as I go, uh, and just to kind of alleviate the process. I think it's
Right.
much faster that way.
As you're
And I'll
recording stuff.
say, yeah, well, like I record most of my stuff, and then like as I'm, yeah, with like MIDI or something. I typically do MIDI. I don't know what he's doing, but
Sure.
yeah, I'll be like, oh, this sounds good in the left of my ear, maybe a little bit. This is too loud. I should duck this, whatever. I don't have like a mixing phase, like per se. It's not like a defined time, I guess. But the last thing I'll say is the balance with the vocals. You have such a dope vocal line, man. You have dope bars.
Yeah.
You have such a soulful delivery that I want to hear it pop out more. I love the trumpets, but like comparative balance wise, like you need to shine more, for sure. So I would just boost my vocals if I were you. You got a great voice, like do it. People want to hear it. So
Yeah.
that's why I'm being a little tough on production, but I really do think that it could go the next level, and I think it's a yellow for me in production. Um, yeah, overall track. I mean,
Track.
so yeah, track total. So congratulations, you released it. I think you said it was the first
Big
release or
milestone.
something. Fucking
Yeah.
ridiculous. My first release was garbage, but this is great. I think that there needs to be some development for it because, and that's fine. You don't have to take it down, like Josh said, with streaming services now. Depending on which one you do, the distribution, excuse me, you can upload a new mix and you won't lose all your stats. Um, it might not have to be right away, but I think eventually, as a professional profile, that's something you might want to look into, just because, at least for the volume issue. So I think it's between good to go to develop for me, with the potential of purple. Really, this is a crazy track. The
Yeah.
switch up was amazing, dude. The switch up was amazing. All right, Josh.
Yeah.
Sorry,
For
I
real.
talked a lot. I talked my ass off there.
No, you're good. Um, yeah, I mean, I would say, man, it's so good. It's one of those things, like I said before, where it's got the special sauce, right? But it just needs the fundamentals now. Like it
Yep.
just needs the mixing and mastering part. This is really all it is. Uh, just to make it, just tighten things up a little bit and bring that volume up. Make it sound a little bit bigger. Man, it'll go a long way for sure. So I would say it's like
I need to meet this
probably
guy.
yeah, probably 80% of the way to good to go. And it's got that undertone of purple. So if you do end up getting it remastered, you have a chance to send it to us again and
Ooh,
possibly get top tier. And then you get on our top tier track playlist, which is really special. So it's a
I could totally
win-win.
see this.
Yeah.
I would love to have a playlist. I don't know if there is one out there of just like dope champagne artists too. Because I would put this there with fucking
Oh,
Jada
yeah.
Mosley and I Am
Oh, yeah.
Lost too, for example. But okay,
Absolutely.
cool.
All right. Sick. Thanks, Jake.